know if this is kind of a weird question. I attract I attract people that are enmeshed. I like females. I attract women that want to be enmeshed with me. And
let's be clear, it's not me. Okay?
Let's be clear, it's not Lindsey. Let's be clear. And so I don't know what that is about me. Where I'm realizing that now, and actually I've gotten older. I'm like, I can see it from a mile away. Where I'm like, oh wow, this is about to happen, or this person wants this to happen, and I can stop it. Like I just had my last 2 rounds of the tests around it, where it was like one person that wanted to be enmeshed and I had to put the boundary, and then a new person where I'm like, actually, I'm not going to go with this because I know that's going to happen, or that's going to. So what about me is attracting people that want to be enmeshed? Honestly.
Can you categorically
Can I explain?
prescribe something?
Yes, can you prescribe something? Which graphic should I post?
Well, I would be interested, Krista, in what the history was. Do you have past relationships? Because we do tend to attract and show up very similarly.
Yeah.
Like I said,
that's
we
what
go
I'm like,
on,
maybe I'm enmeshing.
we go on, or it just could be an energy about you. I mean, there could be something that is repeating in your life that attracts that type of person in a way.
I feel like it's always happened with women. Like I've always had female relationships, like and I think this is like mother wound things, but it's like I've had periods in my life where I've had these very intense enmeshed female relationships and friendships. And it's like, as I've gotten older, I've realized I don't like that. I'm like, oh, I really like my independence. I like to be my own person. And I think I'm sort of moving out of it, but I don't know if it's a mother wound thing.
Yeah. I asked because I have a similar history of having, and of course, I'm a lesbian, so we can make jokes about, of course, you get dive in, though I've had friendships that are also really intense, and though that happened very quickly.
Just so everyone knows, we weren't going to make those jokes, so hey, that was really you.
You know, the almost 30 girls.
Yeah, honestly, making jokes.
Call it like it is. So that was also part of my friendships, included this intensity, this time spent together. And of course, I understand it as being a function of that's what I was used to. However, the interesting piece of it was I never felt fulfilled. I never felt actually close. I never felt actually deeply known by these people, because what I came to realize in my patterning was while I would quote unquote connect, I was connecting around specific feelings, specific topics, if you will, and a specific level of consciousness. Meaning, in my family of origin, we connected around stress. One of our favorite experiences and mantras was it's always something. And this could be, right, the trash didn't go out on time, to actually something serious. My sister having medical conditions and there being a medical, issue in the home. However, when there was stress in the home with one person, when something happened to my dad or my mom or my sister, the whole family felt stress. So for me, I noticed that same patterning in my relationships where we would bond around maybe stress or a very surface, one instance, one thing, or maybe it was just time spent together, though it really wasn't deep time spent together. So while I had people around me, and I've always had a very active social life, I've always been in a partnership of some kind, I've always had relationships, and this was very much a part of my dark night of the soul, because I came to realize while my world was populated with humans, I felt deeply alone. I felt not understood. I didn't actually feel like where we were connecting was from that deep place. Though, if you looked around, like I said, there was always someone in my phone, always someone at my home. I was always at happy hour. So, and talking and relating, though, again, what was the content of it?
That's my life. That's my life.
I feel seen.
I feel truly seen. This is actually what I'm working most on right now, is really that. And the need to feel like I have to wear a mask almost. Yes. And with the enmeshment relationships, I've realized over time that I was just fulfilling a role for them. And I was sort of in the role that I was in with my mom, where it was just like, what questions can I ask you? What can I support you in? What can I learn about you? And I would just completely abandon myself to be in support of this person or listen to this person or encourage this person. And I just like over time, I'm like, yo, that is incredibly exhausting. Yeah. Like I shouldn't be hanging out with a person for 3 hours and not have them like ask a single question of me. Yeah. And how much of my life has been with the mask on of like, okay, what do you need me to be? Like, what do you need me to be right now? Do you need me to be funny? Do you need me to be encouraging? Do you need me to listen? Like, what kind of person do you want me to be? And then fulfilling that role. And I found that in those enmeshed friendships, it was like, because they were so intense, I would fulfill that role much more quickly. And then I was kind of stuck in it for like the remainder of their relationship.
Yeah, Yeah, we do get ourselves stuck in dynamics. That's why we repeat the ones from childhood. And then once we're in a dynamic with someone, expectations develop. That's why boundaries are at the surface.
Yep.
A violation of that expectation. What do you mean, Nicole? You're always there for me in this way. Now I'm shocked at minimum. And then going back to something you said earlier, Lindsey, those of us that have some degree of an abandonment wound, up comes that. Now I'm activated. Now I feel like I've done something wrong, that there's this new space around me. I actually want to share because I would do the opposite in a way. I got really good at tending to other people, and my favorite way of tending to other people at times was filling the air, was sharing about myself, though not in a deep way, was sharing about my latest problem, was bitching, was, the last night, and I would fill air. So I actually had to have the devastating realization as part of my healing journey that I was what I call in the book an emotional dumper. I was a person who brought a lot of typically stress, always something, to my relationships as a vent, and I was someone who didn't ask too much at times about other people. So I had to, shift that because I realized two things. To be known by someone, you have to share.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share other aspects of my life now that I was no longer always stressed or always something. That's vulnerable. That's uncomfortable. So that I'm still working that journey of how do I share deep aspects of myself with someone else, and I have to learn how to hold the space for someone else to do the same by asking the questions, by sitting in silence, by not feeling like I have to fill the air at all times.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Morning Microdose by Almost 30.
We hope you enjoyed waking up.
As always, we encourage you to take what resonates and leave the rest. If you enjoyed this trip, tune into the full episode on the Almost 30 podcast. All episode information can be found in the show notes.
Make sure to subscribe, and if this becomes a part of your morning routine, be sure to share it with a friend. We have new inspiring doses Monday through Friday. Follow us on Instagram at Morning Microdose, and follow Almost 30 at Almost 30 Podcast.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the vortex.